All right, let's dive into a maritime mystery today, the SS Ourang Medan. We're talking ghost ships. We're talking a crew lost under the strangest of circumstances and just a whole bunch of unanswered questions. AboveTheNormNews.com brought this case to our attention as all the makings of a classic unsolved mystery.
What's so captivating about this case is that it's not just some sailor's tale, whispered in some dimly lit tavern you know. This has been around for decades. The story of the Ourang Medan has been haunting maritime circles and armchair detectives for decades. And the detail, oh, they're like something straight out of a horror movie.
Okay, so paint the scene for us. Where and when does this chilling mystery take place?
All right, so imagine the Strait of Malacca, bustling in the late 1940s. Ships from all corners of the globe are crisscrossing these waters. Their communication lifeline, the dots and dashes of Morse code.
I can almost hear that. The crackle of the static over the airwaves. It really sets the stage for something unsettling.
Exactly. And then, out of that static, multiple ships receive a distress call. A voice, laced with fear, transmits this message. All officers, including the captain, are dead. Possibly whole crew dead. I die.
Just reading that sends shivers down my spine. Think about it. You're alone on the vast ocean, and suddenly you get this frantic, fragmented message about a ship full of dead. I mean, how would you even begin to process that?
I mean, for seasoned sailors, receiving a distress call was always cause for concern, but this message, it would have been unlike anything they'd ever heard. The immediacy of it, the desperation in the operator's voice, it's bone-chilling.
So other ships in the area, I imagine, rush to find the Ourang Medan. Do they find it?
They do, adrift, eerily silent, no signs of life, no response to their hails. Just this, chilling quiet hanging over the vessel. It's like the ship itself was holding its breath.
I bet that silence was even more unsettling than any frantic call for help could have been. It's like walking into a haunted house. You know something's wrong, but you don't know what.
Definitely amps up the suspense. A rescue party finally boards the Ourang Medan, and well, it's not the survivors they were hoping to find. The entire crew, dead, scattered across the deck, frozen in these unnatural, contorted positions, and their faces. It's like they died in the grip of absolute terror.
It's giving me serious Unsolved Mysteries vibes right now. What kind of details did they find? Anything particularly strange or out of place?
Well, plenty. Even the ship's dog was found dead, teeth bared in a silent snarl. But perhaps the most eerie detail of all, the radio operator, the man who sent that chilling distress call, he was still at his station, hand reaching for the transmitter, frozen in time as if death had struck him mid-transmission.
I'm picturing the scene now. The dead silence, the unnatural poses, the radio operator. It's like a snapshot of some unimaginable horror.
Well,
What could have possibly happened?
that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And to make things even stranger, there were no signs of physical damage to the crew, no wounds, no signs of a struggle, nothing. Whatever killed them did it swiftly and silently, leaving them trapped in that final moment of fear. It's a puzzle that has stumped researchers and investigators for years. What could cause such sudden and inexplicable death, leaving an entire crew frozen in a tableau of terror?
So let's put on our detective hats and start sifting through the evidence. I mean, where do we even begin to unpack a mystery like this?
Well, a good place to start is with the ship's cargo. Some investigators theorize that the Ourang Medan might have been carrying hazardous materials, things like potassium cyanide or nitroglycerin. If those leaked, the fumes could be deadly.
Yeah, those are some pretty potent chemicals. I was reading about potassium cyanide. It disrupts your body's ability to use oxygen at a cellular level, leading to rapid death.
Mm.
And nitroglycerin, well, it's highly explosive.
Yeah.
But it can also cause severe headaches, dizziness, and even death if inhaled.
You're exactly right. And the symptoms of those types of poisoning could align with the contorted positions and expressions of pain we see in the crew.
But wouldn't there be some kind of residue?
Yeah.
Or lingering smell if those chemicals had leaked?
That's one of the holes in this theory. Rescuers who boarded the Ourang Medan, they didn't report any unusual smells or chemical residues. Plus, hazardous materials are usually transported under strict safety protocols, so it's unlikely there would have been a major leak without some kind of damage to the cargo hold.
So if not a chemical leak, what else could have been lurking on that ship? Were there any other theories about the cause of death?
Another possibility is carbon monoxide poisoning. It's odorless, colorless, and can quickly incapacitate and kill. A leak could have easily gone unnoticed, filling the ship with this silent killer.
Right. Carbon monoxide binds to your red blood cells, preventing them from carrying oxygen throughout your body. It can cause confusion, headaches, and eventually death by suffocation. It's definitely a possibility.
But again, we run into inconsistencies. A carbon monoxide leak significant enough to wipe out an entire crew would likely have left some trace. Malfunctioning equipment, a damaged ventilation system, something. And those boarding the ship should have felt some effects, but they didn't report any symptoms.
It's like we're chasing ghosts here. Every time we think we're getting close to an explanation, another piece of the puzzle doesn't quite fit. It's enough to make you wonder if we're even dealing with something that can be explained rationally.
You're not wrong. The lack of concrete evidence and the sheer strangeness of the scene have led some to speculate about more unusual explanations.
Okay, let's venture into the unexplained. What kind of theories are we talking about here?
Well, some believe that the Ourang Medan might have encountered some kind of supernatural entity, a ghost, a demon, something that terrified the crew to death. Others suggest the ship might have sailed through some kind of dimensional rift, exposing the crew to forces beyond our comprehension.
I've always been fascinated by ghost ship stories. There's something about the vastness of the ocean and the isolation of being at sea that just lends itself to those kinds of tales.
Exactly. And when you combine that with the chilling details of the Ourang Medan, the sudden deaths, the expressions of terror, the lack of any logical explanation, it's easy to see why people's minds would wander into the realm of the paranormal.
It's like those classic horror movies where a group of friends stumbles upon a deserted cabin in the woods. You just know something bad is going to happen. But in this case, it's a ghost ship drifting on a dark sea, and the horror is real.
And then there's the idea of dimensional rifts. Some believe that there are places where the fabric of reality is thin, allowing things from other dimensions to cross over into our world. What if the Ourang Medan stumbled into one of these areas, exposing the crew to something that our minds can barely comprehend?
It's a chilling thought. And it would certainly explain why there's no physical evidence of what killed the crew. We're talking about forces that operate outside the laws of physics as we understand them.
Exactly. If we're dealing with something that transcends our current understanding of science and reality, then all bets are off. It's like trying to solve a crime scene in a parallel universe.
So we've got scientific theories that don't quite add up and paranormal explanations that stretch the limits of our imagination. It's a real head-scratcher. Are there any other avenues we can explore to shed some light on this mystery?
Well, there is one. The Ourang Medan itself vanishes from the scene not long after the rescue party boards the ship. A fire breaks out in the cargo hold.
Oh, no.
And despite their efforts to contain it, the Ourang Medan sinks beneath the waves, taking any remaining evidence with it to the bottom of the sea.
So not only do we have this mysterious crew death,
Hmm.
but the ship itself disappears. It's almost as if it never existed.
Right, which has fueled all sorts of speculation about cover-ups and conspiracies.
Oh, I love a good conspiracy theory. Lay it on me.
Some believe that the Ourang Medan might have been involved in some kind of covert government operation, transporting dangerous or classified materials, and that the entire incident was deliberately hushed up.
I mean, the lack of official records for the Ourang Medan certainly adds to the intrigue.
It does. There's no clear documentation of its origins, its purpose, its cargo. It's almost as if the ship was a phantom.
A phantom ship with a very real and very terrifying story.
Exactly.
So where does this leave us? With all these theories, these unanswered questions, what's the final takeaway from this deep dive into the Ourang Medan mystery?
I think the takeaway is that some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved. We can examine the evidence, we can explore the possibilities, but ultimately the truth of what happened aboard that ship may be lost forever.
It's a reminder that the world is still full of wonders and horrors, things that we may never fully understand.
Exactly, and perhaps that's part of what keeps us coming back to these stories, the need to grapple with the unknown, to find meaning in the face of mystery.
Well said. The SS Ourang Medan may be gone, but its legend lives on, a chilling reminder of the enduring power of the unexplained. And that wraps up another deep dive into the strange and mysterious. If you're hungry for more tales of the unexplained, be sure to check out AboveTheNormNews.com. They've got a treasure trove of stories that will keep you up at night. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into the mysteries that surround us.